Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is part 2 of our UV mapping series for modular assets. So let's just take you through. We're gonna do standard UVs. We're not going to be doing UDIM tiles because we will not have multiple materials on a single object. So what we're going to do is with the windows, you would think, well, we're going to have the stone for the castle modular pieces, and then we will probably should put the windows in the UDIM tile. Well, we just want to paint those black, so that's easy enough to do. So we can still just use standard UVs, which is just one UV for each one of these assets, which will make it really easy. For modular assets with one single material, you will probably just do standard UVs. Okay, that happens a lot. If you had a complex object with multiple pieces and multiple materials per object, then you'll have to use UDIM tiles. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I don't care where we start. I'm going to start over here and move our way over like this. And each one of these pieces will have its own UVs. So we're going to go ahead and do a control 1. So select this piece right here. Do control 1 to isolate it so we can see all of the sides. Now normally I wouldn't even do the bottom of this object because you're never going to see it, and it's never going to be tipped over. So we could take all the faces off the bottom to save some face count. So let's go ahead and do that. So I am going to right click, go to face mode, and I'm going to click on my brush, and I'm going to hold the shift key down, get a little closer, hold the shift key down, and just kind of select all the pieces on the underneath of this object like this. Okay. Now to make the brush bigger or smaller, you would hold the B key down as in boy while moving your left mouse around. Move it back and forth and make that a little bit bigger if you want to. Okay. Now what you want to do is hit the Q key to get out of that mode. And look around, make sure you don't have any other faces selected. And I usually just hit the 4 key to do that. And you can just see right here that we don't have any other faces selected. So I'm going to hit the 5 key again, go underneath, and hit the delete key. That'll delete that. I know that looks kind of weird, but now it's fine, and we've saved some color count since we'll never see the bottom. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Since it's a cubic shape, we need to go ahead and use automatic mapping on this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I was worried about that we don't have a little indent here, but I remembered we have a modular piece that connects to that. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is delete history. So before we do any UV mapping, we want to delete all the history on the model. And we're going to center pivot it, delete the history, and then freeze transformations. That will lock its position in our scene. Since I have everything built, it's exactly how I want it. If I do move this, I can bring it back. Okay. All right, with that done, I'm going to go ahead and UV map this. So go to UVs, go to automatic map, click on the option box, and we're going to go ahead and reset this, reset it. And we want scale mode to be uniform, bounding box. Now, if you do not delete history, you're going to get some wonky scale changes in your UVs. So you always have to delete history, because if you ever scale an object up, what will happen is that it will give you all the UVs will look square instead of since this looks more like a rectangle, so a rectangle shape instead of a square shape. So we got to watch that. So I'm going to go to UVs, have that selected, go to automatic map, and you make sure you delete history on everything before you even start UV mapping. So that'll help you not run into that issue at all. So I'm going to project. Okay, just click off and select the object again and go to UV and then UV editor. Okay. So Maya does its best to try to UV map everything for you. So I'm going to move this over to the side. And normally you will go ahead and let Maya do that. You know, that's fine. But we want to kind of find out where things are at and how they're positioned. That's the biggest thing. So I'm going to go right click and go to UV shell. And this is where we need to kind of take things and move them away. Okay, bigger pieces, move them away a little bit like that. Just get them out of the object, and we need to make sure they're aligned properly. This one I can tell it's aligned properly. There's the door. And there is the top. So I think we just need to kind of find out how things are positioned. We know that's positioned correctly. We know the back part probably isn't positioned correctly. It's upside down. So we just need to rotate that. So you want to go to transform, and we want to rotate this by hand. Just kind of click on this button right here and rotate it. Okay, so I'm going to place this over here now that I know that's facing the right direction. I want to go to this section right here, just kind of rotate, hit the F key, and that lets you rotate around the object. Okay, and you can see that part is correct, so I'm going to move that over here. Click on this part right here, and that is also facing the right direction. So we want the walls to be facing up. This one here, I'm not sure, that's the top, so I think I'm going to flip that around. I'm going to hit the F key so I can rotate around it. There we go, like that. And we want that to be turned around. Let's see, what direction should I turn it? So I'm going to go to UVs, just kind of click on the top part to see. So that is the bottom here. So I'm going to go to UV shell and rotate it the other way, this way. So I got to select it and then rotate it this way. There we go. So these should be in the front. So I'm going to select those. Yep, those are in the front now. And that's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and take this UV shell, click on it, and move it down here. The rest of the stuff, this is the door. So we want to keep these in its own little area so we can paint them. Okay. So we have to be kind of careful with the rest of these. So how do I find out where the UV shells are for the windows? Well, that's easy enough. I can just click on it and select all the UVs that would make up the window. I want those to be colored black or really, really dark gray. So I'm going to hit the Q key and just shift select. Whoops, don't want to do that. Shift select the inside window pieces. Okay, rotate around and then kind of down a little bit like that, and shift select these like this. Okay, so we want the entire window inside and inside of this area here, and you can see those are all the pieces for the windows. So I'm gonna hit the W key and just move those over to where the door is. The rest of the stuff we'll just let Maya pack it together. Okay, or maybe I should just pack it. Maybe that's the best way to go. Okay, so I'm going to keep these parts. So I'm going to take all these pieces here and move them up. Okay, just kind of do a quick pack. Again, these are kind of pieces that we could probably put in together here, like this. Oh, those are the insides of the door. Okay, let's see what's inside here. So let's click on these guys right here. Hold the shift key down. Select that. Okay, so I want, that's probably the top and bottom, so that needs to be black. Yeah, that is correct. So let's move those over by the windows and the door. That's going to be all black. And let's smooth these up like that. and we cannot have anything intersecting at all. So let's just go ahead and move these, and it's okay if we have a little wasted space, that's all right. So I think I can probably put these up in here without causing any issues. There we go, that's good. And then I'm going to select these guys and move everything in here. Make sure I don't overlap anything. So I'm going to put these two together. And put this one up here, and I can see that I'm kind of running out of space. So I think to maximize the texture space, let's go ahead and move these like this. And sometimes this takes a little practice. And we'll put this little corner in here for the black painted pieces here. Like that. And what I'll probably do that is pack all of them to where all the black parts that I want to texture will be in this area here. Okay, so I'm going to move these up and out of the way so I have some room to place this. Let's go ahead and put this in here. That looks good. So just double check everything to make sure nothing is touching or overlapping, and it's not. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to right click over this, go to selection mode, make sure that's in object mode, and then we're going to go to our camera, our snapshot. Then we've got to make sure that we have we're not using 2 unum tiles, we're just going to use 1, and hit enter on that. Make sure that it's set at 2048 by 2048. We're going to set that at 4096 when we get to substance painters, but this will save some space on your hard drive. And then PNG, we want that on, and then we're going to click on browse, and you want to make sure you want to go to the folder that you want to save your UV maps to. So click on your, if you're using a flash drive and your project folder is in your flash drive, so you need to click on my computer, then you'll find your flash drive and open that up. And I'm running off my documents folder, Maya, and projects, and then I'm going to scroll down to my castle, and then source images, make sure that's all open. You can see that's what it's going to basically look like. So we need to put that those UV tile or that UV file into the source images folder. We're going to rename that something that makes sense. So I'm going to put castle. Okay. We're going to do underscore 01. We're going to do underscore UV, and then underscore TX. So this will be a castle modular. Let's put mod MOD modular. Let's just type in modular 01. So that's going to be a modular asset, and that's going to be our first one. Click save, and then click apply and close. Okay, and that's it. So we're going to close that. It's probably a good idea, since we've already got that singled out. Let's go ahead and save it out as an OBJ, since that piece is ready to go. So I'm going to go to File, and we're going to go to Export Selection. Go into Option Box. It's OBJ Export. Click on Export Selection. We need to make sure that we are in our scenes folder. So if you didn't set your folder up, you're going to have to go into tell it where you want it to go. But mine's already set up, so mine goes directly to the right one. So I want to kind of rename it again, the same exact thing. So I'm going to type in castle modular 01 TX UV. There we go. So castle modular 1 TX UV. Okay. Or we can just call it modular 1. Let's just do that. That way we don't have the same exact name as the UV map. So that's probably a good idea. So that's what we have. I'm going to do a Control C Okay, and that's our modular one piece. Export selection, and let it export. If you're exporting to your flash drive, give it a chance to save. It might take a little while to save this before you start clicking in your scene. Okay, so I'm done with that, and in the next video we'll continue working down the modular assets, and it should go faster now that we know what we need to do. So I'll see you in the next video.